Let's answer one of the most common questions we get from parents. What should I be working on with my kids to help them learn how to read? Like, what do we do? I know for myself, I learned how to read 3 decades ago. So it's not fresh in my mind what I actually did to go from I don't know how to read to, oh, I do know how to read. And this has been my obsession for, oh my gosh, I'm going to age myself here. 13 years now, a long time. Okay. I've been obsessed with helping kids learn how to read. My name is Megan, by the way. I'm half the team of the Developing Readers Academy team alongside Laura. And we both just have always loved teaching, but particularly reading and particularly kids who are struggling to learn how to read. Like that is my very favorite things. I myself have a neurodivergent child. My son is autistic. So I know what it feels like to have a child who is struggling and be wanting to know how to help and be willing to do whatever it takes to help. So if you're here watching this right now, it means you will do whatever it takes to help your child become a fluent, confident reader because it matters so much for their future. So everything you're doing right now, just watching this video right now, it tells me everything I need to know about you. You're an amazing parent. Okay. So thank you. And hold on one second. Cough, real life. We're going to let that go. All right, we are going to talk about the 6 things that it takes to become a fluent reader. These are the 6 things that you need to learn how to read, and we're going to figure out which one of these do you need to start with to help your child. So, what should your kids be working on? The first thing we recommend parents think about, does my child need help with this? It's called phonemic. Ooh, that's big. I'm going to make that smaller, don't worry. Awareness, phonemic awareness. This is the ability to hear sounds and words. And there are, you know what? I'm not going to give you all the details yet. I'm going to keep you guessing. Stick around to figure out if your child's going to need this. Let me get through these 6. Your child needs phonemic awareness. The next thing is letters. They have to have their letters mastered. Okay. The next one is they need to have phonics skills. Okay. They need phonics skills. We'll talk about these a little more deeper in just a minute. So stick with me. Number 4 is vocabulary, the words that they're using, understanding words, all that fun stuff. Number 5 is fluency. And I'm going to explain what that is. It might be different than you think. You might be thinking reading really fast. Not exactly. And number 6, your child needs to, and this is the ultimate goal for all of us here, is we need comprehension. We want our kids to actually understand what they're reading, right? Like, isn't that the ideal situation? Like, oh, they actually know what they're reading. Like, who cares if they can just say the words? They need to understand it and what the author's trying to say. So these are the 6 things that we want to work on. And once we get these 6 things going, man, you got a incredible reader in front of you. Okay. So let's figure out which one of these your kids needs. Maybe they need all 6. That's okay. Maybe they need 5, 4, whatever. Maybe they're all the way down to comprehension. Who knows? But let's figure it out right now by asking yourself these questions for phonemic awareness. And let me think about what the best way to do this is. I'm going to put this guy. I'm actually going to delete this line. I'm glad we're over here because I'm going to put phonemic awareness here. Ask yourself, can your child break words into sounds I want to go with and with this, and put sounds together to make words. Those are the 2 power skills. There are other skills that go along with the listening and hearing part. But the 2 power skills that you have to be a reader and a speller is you need to be able to break words into sounds and put sounds together to make words. If your child struggles with these, start here. Start with this skill, okay? Number 2, letters. Now this one is they can tell you the letter names, the letter sounds, and they can write their letters. And here's the part that they need within 2 seconds. Automatically. It should be very little effort. When they look at a T, they know it spells T. They know how to spell the T. When it gets to a point where they have mastered these, they don't need to put a lot of energy. That's where we want to get them to. So if they still have to think T spells T, 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 that's not quick enough. It means it's not mastered. They still have to go through this long process. So you want to keep working on that. Okay. So you want to get it where they know it quick as a snap is what I like to say. Phonics. Now, phonics, can your child read and spell a lot of words easily? This is a very simple way to put this. I've thought of what's the most simple way I can put this. Reading and spelling a lot of words easily. Again, within those 2 seconds. That's what we want. We want kids to put as little effort as possible, not effort, energy, a little energy into having to read the words. We want it to feel quick as a snap because then their energy can focus more on comprehension because that is what we ultimately want. So if your child is not effortlessly reading or spelling words, they need to work on phonics. So is that an area your child needs? What about vocabulary? I love vocabulary. I love a good fancy word. Can your child, or is your child curious about, can they use and understand fancy words? I love fancy words. The more we can orally use fancy words and understand fancy words, the easier it's going to be when it comes to reading and writing these words. So vocabulary is super important. Does your child need some support in that area? The next one, fluency. And this, how I love to say it is, can your child sound like talking when they read? That's how I explain it. It's not about reading super fast. We don't want to talk super fast where people can't understand, right? We want to talk, a normal speed that people can understand. We make our words almost touch each other. We don't really hear the spaces when we're speaking, right? That's kind of how we want to read. We want to, if there's a question, can they make their voice sound like a question? And are they reading the words just like the author wrote them? Are they not skipping? Are they not guessing? They're really being accurate when they're reading. That's all part of fluency. That's a big part of understanding, because if your child is stuck sounding like a robot or they're super duper slow, it's hard to get to comprehension. It means they're using a lot of their energy. Imagine they have this bandwidth and they use most of their bandwidth for just lifting the words off the page. They don't have a lot left for comprehension. And that's why it's so important to get to fluency and fluent reading. And finally, comprehension. We obviously need to understand what we're reading. Can your child, think about this, can your child, when you're talking with them, can they follow along when you have conversations? Can they ask questions that are appropriate with that conversation? Like, oh, that makes sense, they're asking this question. Can they answer questions? These are all signs that they can orally understand. And once we can have conversations and get all those things in place, and we can lift up the words effortlessly off the page, guess what? That is reading comprehension. When you can effortlessly lift the words off the page and you understand what they mean, that is where we want to get. And these are 6 elements that are just so important and so key in getting your child reading. Now, you might be thinking, my child needs one of these, my child needs all of these, or somewhere in between. That's amazing. First of all, can I just say, you recognizing that is amazing, because now you have a mission. Okay, we're gonna work on breaking up words today, because that is like a really early skill that's very important. So that's what we're gonna work on today. Or hey, I know they kind of still struggle with the Q. The QU is, man, that's tricky for my kids. I'm gonna work on that today. Just picking one thing to focus on and move the needle just an inch is huge. It's huge. So anything you can do in any of these 6 categories that your kids need is amazing. Now, there are evidence-based ways to teach these. There is a certain order that's going to make the most sense and help them accelerate their growth the fastest. That is how we help families. We discover the exact gaps, because within phonemic awareness, there's smaller skills. There's lots of letters. There's lots of different phonics skills. We help break down the exact gaps that kids have, and we target those so that we can really speed up your child's progress. Because when you're just picking random things, doing them in random orders, looking at random YouTube videos, I know I'm guilty of that. It really slows down the process versus, finding that pathway that's been gone through a million times before from other kids and makes it really simple for you and fun for your kids. If you can find that, that is going to make that process so much smoother and quicker for you and your family. And that is what we do for families inside of our Miss Buddy Reads program. We help fill in all the gaps for all of these. We get kids fluently reading so that they can focus on comprehension. And also, we like to make it a blast. I turn into Miss Buddy, and we just have so much fun. I want you to try it out. If you are concerned about any of these areas, I want you to try it out. For $7, you can get a $7 trial. If you use the link below, we don't have this trial around forever. So if you're seeing this right now and you see that link, jump in and grab it while it's around and try it out for $7. And at least you get 14 days inside of this. At least you'll be able to go through our assessment within that period and figure out those exact gaps. So even if the program's not the right fit, you can go through the assessment, find your child's gaps, and be really confident in what you're working on. So I want you to jump in if you have any concerns. I want you to jump in. I want you to try it out. Figure out what your child's gaps is. If you love it, guess what? I do all the teaching for you. I get to fill in those gaps for you. You just have to hit play. It's just, I love it so much. We've had over 2,100 families in it so far at the time that I'm recording this. And we've helped kids with dyslexia, with ADHD. We've helped kids that are in preschool and they're just wanting to learn how to read really, really bad. We help get them to where they want to go, and all these amazing stories. I want you to have an amazing story, and I love to be part of that journey. So make sure you check the link in the description, or you can send us a DM on Instagram, or you can email us. There we go, at hi@developingreadersacademy.com, and we can chat more about what this can look like for your family. So I hope to see you inside. Otherwise, you know what to work on. Which one of these are you working on today? Think about it. Which one of these are you working on today? Do one little thing today, and you're going to have this little win, and keep stacking those wins up. If you can get a little win every day, your kid is going to be crushing it with their reading and with their spelling. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one.